we start this hour with Hong Kong. A solemn vigil has been held tonight at Victoria Park to honor the lives of domestic workers lost in devastating apartment fire. Mourners lit candles and offered prayers for victims, who included at least 7 Indonesians and 1 Filipino person, according to their respective consulates. Authorities report the overall death toll from the blaze has now risen to 146 people. Organizers say the gathering aimed to recognize the vital contributions of migrant workers and to call for improved safety and living conditions. Let's listen in.
Say that they want to give a big support to the family member and also everyone who affected by the fire, but there is no clear direction. How about migrant domestic worker? Do they also have the same thing, the same treatment from the local people? And also how the family member can access the compensation or any kind of support from the Hong Kong government. So I think that Hong Kong government to make very clear and direction information that everyone can
Saya berharap ini adalah kejadian pertama dan terakhir kali. Semoga kedepannya tidak terjadi lagi, dan semoga korban-korban yang menjadi korban di kebakaran Taipo segera bisa ditemukannya. Begitu saja.
Now, for this discussion, we welcome Mr. Andrew K.P. Long. He's an independent Chinese strategist, joins us live from Hong Kong. Thank you very much, Andrew, for joining us again. Good to see you. Andrew, what is developing and what's more has come out from this Hong Kong fire?
Well, there is has been an exemplar outpouring of solidarity from a civil society in Hong Kong, including NGOs, volunteers, various associations, as well as domestic helpers groups. First of all, to pay respect for the unfortunate, for the disease, but also to show solidarity. There was also a great deal of material donated by volunteers and organizations and businesses all over the place, including those outside Hong Kong, for example, neighboring Guangdong, Macau, and various other places. In addition to expressions of condolences from world leaders, including the Pope and King Charles and other national leaders. I think that this is an example of how vibrant Hong Kong society has become, but also the government is pulling no stops because immediately there are already 1,500 victims already housed in permanent accommodation, and don't forget there are 2,000 families and 2,000 flats, even though not all of them have been affected, but most of them are. In addition to immediate housing and various donations amounting to over 1.2 billion Hong Kong dollars. So each victim is receiving something like at least $6,000 cash, together with, and then there are a number of hotels offering them free accommodation. And the government has pledged that all those housed, and in fact, none of the victims is left homeless. They are either in shelters or already housed in permanent accommodation. And the government has pledged that they can live rent-free for as long as it takes to rebuild their homes. And then, of course, those high-rise blocks have been recently inspected. Initial findings that there are no immediate danger. And then the structural security remains relatively sound. But pending further investigation, the government has undertaken either to rebuild all these blocks or to renovate them, and so that all these victims can have regained their homes. So I think that this is an example of civil society efficient government response while investigations, of course, have been carrying on into possible cases of even corruption amongst the contractors, and who are, of course, held primarily responsible for the loss of lives. And they've been arrested and charged with manslaughter. And also, interdepartmental investigations are carrying on to prevent the same catastrophe from happening, including materials, whether the existing standards are adequate, whether the fire equipment is up to the job in modern-day high-rise buildings and very narrow streets characteristic of Hong Kong, whether the scaffolding is safe, and particularly the kind of material covering the buildings whilst under renovation. Although initial tests have shown that examples of this covering meet fire retardant specifications, there is no telling whether, in fact, the reality remains the case, because there are so many blocks involved.
Yes.
And one sample for testing may not represent the whole picture. So all sorts of investigations are carrying on. But meanwhile, there is an outpouring of solidarity, queues of people deep into the night, paying respects, signing condolence books. It almost takes 1 hour to reach from the end of the queue to the top, but still doesn't stop people from all over the place in Hong Kong paying their respect to the unfortunate. So I think that this is a very good example. While there are many challenges remain in Hong Kong, and I think that all these are very positive signs.
Yes, indeed. Thank you for bringing that into our perspective and sharing with us